What a transformation. I am Couch Coop, by the way, and we're going to be looking at Deep Rock's single player elements. I've been obsessed with trying to get this game to function comfortably as a single player piece of content. When it was launched 2019, I got early access. It was a lot rawer. This hub has had a hell of a transformation. I'm very impressed. We're up to season 4 now. Critical corruption, which is welcomed. It's got some variant on different task types and some cool new terrifying insectoid imaginings. First tip for the solo run is to have a look at the difficulty down there in the bottom right. Now I sort of defaulted to Hazard 2, which gives you a 50% plus on reward, but you might have to put it down a notch, which is technically a medium to easy mode, but at the beginning this game is quite difficult on the ramp. And not having Bosco's additions pumped in, this is quite important because on the single player, Bosco gives you extra lives and he can save your ass with his missiles, which need to be increased to at least a full clip of 3. He normally rocks around with 2, but these things can slam bosses and really save you from getting completely munched.
This is for you, Bosco!
Have there been any major map changes or variant? The answer to that question is yes. It's normally centered around environmental hazards, but there are some out-and-out changes in differences in map texture and type. They seem to be a lot less tamer on layout, with huge cavernous rooms and big drops and gaps. Now this is something I do want to discuss. Depending on what class you choose, you can get in a bit of a muddle with traversing large cliff faces and drops with certain characters. Now the designers have taken this into account, given everyone almost a sort of winch out of trouble move, but just be careful on that one. I went towards the engineer and the scout, and of course the heavy weapons dude. Those 3 seem to be quite autonomous in their specials design.
Shield charge and ready.
As you can see, the bosses or the boss fights are absolutely epic now. They were very strong about a year and a half ago, but they've just increased their variety or variant on spawn. Sometimes you can get 2 and then mixed in with elements. It might be explosive for dreadnoughts. Some have acid mixed into their attack pattern, and all of them normally have a workable weak spot that needs to be chipped at in order to get the money shot. It's cool. I like the way they've staggered it. It's not just a singular fight that's over pretty fast.
Place seems about to blow up!
Your specials also really help, with the engineer and the scout giving some massive impact on explosions and giving you a turret essentially, which is a second person for the enemy to aim for. All of this is supported by Bosco, who will slam the enemy with rockets on command. They replenish. You've got a handful of 3, so you need to be economic with that to a certain extent.
Congratulations, you've proved yourself an exceptional miner.
Some of the mining planets have gone like full No Man's Sky, offering you really amazing neon nighttime style like seaweed that glows and eyeballs that follow you around. I'm so welcome to this detail added to these amazing maps. When you originally fired up this game, it was very much polygon, 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 and the surfaces being just flat, everything having angular lines. It was a look that attracted me, but now the lighting angles and the way you throw out these certain beacons to see what's happening down the line, it's very much looking double to AAA now. It's also shoveling a lot of new stuff at me, which I don't entirely understand. We've got these new growths that require a 2-stage cleanup process, one of which is breaking up and then hoovering up poisonous gases. You have to call in the equipment itself, and then destructing the crystals causes these horrible little things to come out of it. Surprises like that really opened my eyes and made me want to keep logging in, seeing what they have to come up with next. There is a bulldozer mission that will show at the end, which also ramps up the tension massively. I think that's really important. At the start it was just go down and dig, grab a little element, put it into a thing and come back, maybe get chased by a few insects. Now it's all about establishing what sort of objective you've got, how you're going to handle it, even getting the arena ready, escape routes, working out where you're going to put your ropes and turrets. Very much an organizational process, and using a lot more of that frontal lobe that we saw with the original editions with the missions on the first fruition of the game. Oh, that's a sentence. That's why you sub for sentences like that, my god. Try saying that again, or fast. I wanted to mention the random loot that's lying around, and it's actually highlighted on map, which is pretty cool. So you might go down a corridor, there'd be like a flat wall behind it. The map says that there's a cool little thing there that will give you another skin, maybe something cosmetic for your character. Nothing that increases your damage or integral stuff like that. Now, let's look at the perk tree, because this is another place the single player needs to keep an eye open, because a lot of this is to do with passive health increase, helping your teammates, offer more support, but we really want just damage and to be able to look after ourselves being a single player. So that's a bit of a tough one. My advice is to have this on numerous systems. Obviously it was over on the 5 for PSN, so I've got my sort of all my support perks over that side, and this is like the selfish profile where I'm going just for me.
The drill dozer served its purpose. The heartstone is ours. Deposit it and wrap up the mission.
Talking of perks, I'm currently doing the Ascent on single player. I'm trying to get to the end of that game so I can look at the Heist DLC. And I've just got past the Spider and sort of looking at various other bosses anyway. I'm having a nightmare with it. And there's a few subscribers who are sympathising with that. But anyway, I went into the menus the other night. I hadn't spent a single skill point. So I'm using health and energy from like a level 2 character. The whole game is now loosened up a bit, and I feel a little bit the same with this. You really must make sure you're claiming those KPI points at that starter hub. It will definitely massively impact your game's performance, give you more health, even give, like Bosco, more branches and options to go in with upgrades, so that one should not be missed. We've also switched out on capturing. I'm using my GeForce capture software now, and I was using the Game Pass thing prior. The latter is awful. The Game Pass capture is so bad. I'm convinced the resolution's smudged and that they're pulling out frames here and there. So this is a lot smoother, I feel, and that's why I wanted to put it at the end of the video, because it sort of shows off really how spectacular looking sways of this game are. I remember when they increased that lighting sort of fidelity, and it wasn't ray traced or anything massive, but it just offers the game such an angle. It does sort of navigate around light in general, meaning that these beacons are not infinite, and when they run out, the lights go out, which is the worst thing you want when you're fighting dangerous enemies. Even a perk is a permanent light installation that you can throw up to the ceiling. So top marks there, guys, for really increasing this game's visuals to a level that I feel are on par with loads of AAA video games that are currently out at the moment. But this has been out and updated for near on 4 years now, so it's a little bit of a No Man's Sky situation. But let me be on record as saying this was not broken on launch, and this really delivered most of what it was supposed to do on day one. It's just got loads better and busier, and that campaign substance only richer. And I think that's a very important thing. You might have looked at this in 2020 and thought, I cannot be asked with going down one of those darkened caves to pull out a stone and then just get told to do it again. This is a very different kettle of fish now. Obviously, this all just works tenfold with 3 other people. Now, this is one of the things with live or online services. I respect Coffee Stain so much for putting single-player content at the base of this game's structure. Capcom, the gods of PvE content across the entire gaming landscape, came out with Xenoprimal that doesn't even let you log in without having 4 people present in your lobby. I think that's a bit of a shame, and this is certainly not existing to that rule, and power to them.
Can't see a thing!
Let's get this mission rolling.
When you're in the middle of a sandstorm in a cave on another planet, on the back of this massive dozer that's talking to you in like a female kid's voice, you're laughing because there's stuff coming at the back, coming at the front. You've got to repair it. You've got to do everything with a damn button that's got a forced relay delay on it. What I mean is you can't just walk up to something and push. You have to hold down everything for at least 30 seconds. This is deliberate, right? Because it causes panic. You might have an insect behind you, but nothing happens instantly. But that is part of the charm of the game.
Drill dozer has begun cracking the Omeran shell. If you lose the dozer, you lose the mission. So
So, can you solo her? Deep Rock Galactic can be done as a single player game comfortably and you won't get bored. There is a huge amount of mission variation that you can choose. More importantly, it's not shoved down your neck. You do have options at that hub. There is one mission type that didn't come up on this playthrough, and it's about placing down like these big pumps, and then they have to be all connected by this roller coaster material. That is something I'm not massively looking forward to, but I'm sure with that solo variant option it will take these things into account and still give me a good time.
The drill dozer has broken through the outer shell. So far, so good.
We gotta fix Donnie!
I don't think I'll ever gravitate to the voices of the dwarves, however. There's not Troy Baker, thank God, but there's something quite disrespectful about them with their equipment and their employees. It winds me up. I can't put my finger on it. They're Danes, right? Coffee stains. So it's probably just a cultural thing. They're really mean to that thing that you put the stuff into. They're horrible to it, an extent where you just think that it should apply for some sort of tribunal. Surely there's some legal ground there.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
I still revel in the system of following that thing back to the actual shuttle itself and getting to safety. That was a brilliantly constructed sequence of events that give you so much urgency and the sort of get to the chopper psychology. The timer's going down, and it will also take the most direct route. So if you've not planned your trip correctly, you'll end up standing at the bottom of a 50-foot cliff and watching the mission end robot disappear. I was of course Couch Coop, and for more content or single player content on games you shouldn't really be playing it on, check out the playlist and comments. I will of course see you down there. Street Fighter 6 is the next.